After the release of Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania underperforming, and then all the Jonathan Majors controversy, Marvel Studios considered dropping Jonathan Majors, and it's still something that's being discussed internally. So there's been a lot that's been going on in terms of news related to Marvel Studios, and it all stems from multiple pieces at this point that have been published. One thing that a lot of people wanted me to talk about was something I didn't honestly bother to talk about in the other video related to Doctor Doom and Kang, and that's the whole Jonathan Majors factor in terms of the legal ramifications of what happens. Now, I talked about it in other videos, but I guess not this complete picture and this new issue that's arose. So essentially what we got here is that Marvel Studios looked at Quantumania and everything that happened by the time its box office run was done, and then the Jonathan Majors news that hit, and they realized that we might just have to cut him out of this franchise. Hence why the whole Doctor Doom thing was brought up, but also, more importantly, they recently just canceled the release of his next big starring project, which was Fox and Disney's Searchlight's magazine Dreams. And the outlets believe that this is just them already prepping us for what might be coming. Now, again, I want to stress they haven't made a decision publicly that we know of, but it's something that's being discussed, and removing him seems to be something that's essentially constantly being discussed, and they're waiting to see what happens next. But they're afraid that if they cut him too early, and he's innocent, it's going to look bad on them. But if they cut him too late, they're going to be reactionary if it's proven that he's guilty, and they're only parting with him once he is proven guilty. So they're kind of stuck in an interesting position, hence why we haven't heard anything. There's been no talks, there's been no mentions of him, there's been almost no marketing that involves him, which again, does make a whole lot of sense here. The thing that really sticks out to me in regards to this whole scenario, and there's a lot to really look at here, is if you look at the breakdown that was done by Variety, that giant article, they talk about how they took pause to assess Quantumania, and they believe that Jonathan Majors and his issues could have been at one, point the fault of this film underperforming, which doesn't make sense at all, because none of those issues surfaced till the film was well out of theaters. So, how? Right? Unless they knew something. But the article doesn't state that. So again, we're kind of back at an interesting position here where we're just waiting for an answer, but we don't have anything. So we'll see what happens next. But it's interesting that they're still considering dropping him at any point, and they 100% convinced themselves that, hey, if he doesn't work out in Quantumania, we might just drop him and pivot.